Hi, I'm Ray Hagar with the Reno Gazette-Journal, and welcome to an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers. Sam Shadd has the day off today. Hey, Governor Gwynn has predicted a tsunami wave of new students coming in to our public education system, but when you look at the latest numbers, they haven't showed up yet.
Washoe County School Superintendent Paul Dugan will be here today to explain why the county is $6 million over budget and why there is a decrease in student enrollment this year. Ray?
And on today's Pundit panel, we have Chris Wicker, Dick Gammick, and Andy Barbano. That's all coming up next. So let's roll for an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
You bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Today's guest is Paul Dugan, the Superintendent of Schools of Washoe County School District. Thanks for coming here today, Paul.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Good. Paul, you know, in pushing for education funding, Governor Gwynn has warned all of Nevada about an impending tsunami of new students coming into our state. But, you know, the state's top 2 districts in your latest counts, your enrollment is flat, and basically that has cost you, together, you and Clark County, more than $25 million in state funding. So how could this have happened? Why are the enrollments so flat in a state that seemingly is growing?
Well, clearly that's a question that we're going to have to answer. And we have really until now in January to do it. And we're going to have to get together demographers and real estate folks and with my staff in order to really get a better picture, because everything that we've been doing for the past 20 years that has worked successfully didn't work this time. So we have to take a look at, have the demographics changed? Are the housing prices too high for young families to move in? What effect has the charter schools had? Homeschooling. We need to look at the big picture. And we need to look at it a lot more carefully than ever before, so we're not in the same situation next school year.
Okay. Governor Gwynn has also criticized school districts that are maybe have to be pushed or nudged to give teachers a 2% raise this year and a 4% raise next year, which was which was approved by the legislature, although, as you know, it has to be approved again at the district level. Last night at the school board meeting in Washoe County, School Board President Dan Carn mentioned that those raises for teachers could be up for negotiation to help fill this deficit from the enrollment figures. Do you, as superintendent, do you see anybody messing with that 2% and 4% raise in Washoe County for your teachers?
Well, obviously, that's a negotiated item. But I think I made myself pretty clear last night. I believe, as the governor stated, that 2% and 4% needs to be used to enhance teacher raises, whether it be in the form of strict salaries or whether it's in the form of other benefits that are cost. That's to be negotiated. But I am completely in favor, and I hope we're able to do this, to at least put the 2% and 4% that was designated for teacher raises and administrative raises and classified raises. And it is already in our budget, and we are planning for that, and I think we need to honor that.
Okay, now the teachers union, the Washoe Education Association, has been negotiating for even higher raises than that. Do you think with this deficit because of the student enrollment numbers, do you think there's any chance that they could do better than a 2% raise this year and a 4% next year?
Well, again, I don't want to negotiate on TV, but...
Well, go ahead, Paul.
But certainly... and I've said this all along with regards to the shortfall in the budget, we have to be fiscally responsible. And so we have to look at the unknowns that are potentially out there with utility prices potentially going up. We're opening 3 new schools. There are a lot of expenses that still are on the horizon that we have to be aware of, and those have to be taken into consideration during negotiations.
Okay.
So I haven't answered your question.
Well, you talked around it very well.
Thank you very much.
There's another issue. When we've in Clark County, as you know, there is a cry to break up the school district. It's huge, one of the top 5 school districts in the United States as far as population size. People that want to break that up have told me that Washoe County is just about at the point of inertia. You have about 63,000 students. Maybe that's as big as you can get and operate functionally. Do you see the day where Washoe County, the school district, is split into 2, and would that help improve education?
Well, I sure hope we're not at the point of inertia, but I certainly don't see it in the near future. I really don't. I believe that we've divided the system between elementary, and we divided elementary into smaller groups. Middle and high school, we now have a high school person in charge of high schools with an assistant, and a middle school superintendent. So I don't foresee that for us in the near future.
Okay. Do you think it would help in Clark County if they broke up that school district?
You know, I taught in Clark County back in the 70s for 4 years, and then I went back there recently, and of course it's a whole different ballgame. And in effect, if I understand what they've done, they have divided that county into smaller areas. Like they have area superintendents who have responsibility for regions. But I know that's always a consideration, but I think they're pretty pleased with the way they've structured it right now. Okay. Paul, let's take a break right now. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the property tax cap and the impact it's going to have on not only Washoe County, but throughout the entire state. That's probably one of your biggest concerns right now. Certainly. We'll be right back after this with Paul Dugan, Superintendent of Washoe County Schools.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hey, thanks for coming back to Nevada Newsmakers. Today's guest is Paul Dugan, the Superintendent of Schools of the Washoe County School District. Now, Paul, one of the biggest questions surrounding public education in Nevada is the property tax cap issue. As you know, the legislature approved a 3% tax cap for homes, 8% cap for business. There's been all sorts of speculation how this is going to hurt the building fund for the Washoe County School District. Early estimates range that you could take a hit of $10 million to as many as $250 million a year. Where do you think this is going to come down?
Well, I have to admit that's been a frustrating part. We are waiting patiently to get the actual numbers of what that effect will have. Until we get that, and we're supposed to get it within a week, it's difficult to project and to plan for what our priorities are going to be. But you're right, we've talked about a 50 million hit to 150, but it may not be that. So until we get that, we're really refraining from trying to make any dire predictions.
Okay. Now, one thing, if this comes in as a heavy hit for you, you may have to go back to the 2003 legislature and ask for new funding sources to build schools. You and I talked that you were forming a study committee to look at property real estate transfer tax on existing homes and impact fees on new home sales. Do you think that the legislature will go for these things, or?
Well, I think they'll only go for them if we can truly make a good case for the need. And certainly there's no getting around the fact that with the flat growth, that makes this perhaps a little more challenging. But I need to make it real clear that whether we remain flat or whether we grow, with the rising costs of construction, we are still in need of additional revenue. So I am hoping that with the community input that we can make the case for 2007 when we go to the legislature that will prevail with regards to having the ability to do what other counties can do and we can't.
Okay. You know, about this flat enrollment this year, I want to make it clear that this probably won't be flat for many years, because when you look at the toddler population in Washoe County, you're going to have another tsunami of little kids coming in here in about 2 years. So the governor's predictions of thousands of more students, it ultimately could come true, couldn't it? Absolutely. And we need to plan, not for the next 2 years, but we have to plan out for 10, 15 years. And so while our flat growth may make this a more difficult campaign, it nonetheless does not make it any less important and critical for us to move forward with it. Okay. Paul, as you know, there's many people now jockeying to run for governor. What of all the candidates, Dina Titus, Jim Gibson, Jim Gibbons, Lorraine Hunt, Bob Beers, what of all those candidates would be the best for public education in Nevada? Got you there, huh? I would have to say for me, as an individual and as a superintendent, it's a little too early for me to tell. Obviously, I want to hear clearly what their focus in education is going to be. I believe strongly that our state funding is not where it needs to be. And so I need to listen to what the candidates have to say with regards to how they're going to address that, or if they are going to address that.
So again, for me to say right now that it would be A, B, or C, I think it's honestly too early to tell.
Can you give me maybe 2 or 3 candidates that you like?
Well, certainly we have Dina Titus, who's been involved in the legislature and very active and tends to be supportive of education. So there's a positive possibility for us. But again, I haven't heard enough from the other candidates to really make a statement that I think one is better than the other.
Okay. Paul, we also talked through the legislature about maybe getting public education and higher education on the same page when it comes to seeking funds from the legislature. Going in as a united K through 16 front, now you're always fighting for the same piece of the pie. Do you think getting a united K-16 front to go to the legislature is just a pie-in-the-sky dream, or do you think that could possibly happen?
You know, it may be a pie-in-the-sky dream, but there are indications in Washoe County that it doesn't have to be a pie-in-the-sky dream, because we have, through the Education Collaborative, developed a K-16 collaboration, if you will, on many issues affecting achievement and various issues in education. So I believe that we are kind of ahead of the ball a little bit in Washoe County, and we could move forward perhaps with more closer collaboration as a K-16 toward funding, but realizing the reality is that the university and the community college, they have definite needs that they're going to fight for, and so are we. The bottom line is, as long as we keep fighting for the young people of Nevada, then we're okay.
Okay, one last question. Is it in higher education, they have development directors that go directly out and seek funds for various projects at the university. Why doesn't the Washoe County School District or the Clark County School District pony up an executive salary, hire a director of development, and go out and also recruit money out of these private sources?
Well, you know, that's a good question. First of all, I want to be clear. We are limited by laws to what we can do. Now, that does not mean that we can't accept, and we do, foundation monies. And we do have community people that are helping us try to gather monies. One of them is the Ed Foundation, which is our chair is Senator Raggio. They have generated a significant amount of money for us. But I think the type of money that you're talking about, really the big money, just never has come about in public education. And it's, I don't really know the answer to that as to why we haven't been able to get the big-time support. But you look at this community and they support public education so well. I'm not sure you know, how much more that we could go out and get them to do.
Okay, Paul, we got to cut it off right there. Thanks for coming in today.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back after this on Nevada Newsmakers.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. Just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, safe ride home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe voting campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
We're back on Nevada Newsmakers for the Pundit panel. We have Dick Gammick, District Attorney for Washoe County, Chris Wicker, Chair of the Washoe County Democratic Party, and our favorite left-wing liberal activist and editor of Nevada Labor, Andy Barbano. Yesterday, former FEMA Director Michael Brown testified in front of Congress and blamed a poor response to Katrina on the dysfunctional people in New Orleans, citing the governor and the mayor, both Democrats, as well as the Department of Homeland Security. Is there any truth to Brown's statement that Louisiana is dysfunctional and that's why they had the problems responding to Katrina?
Well, go ahead, Dick.
Go, Chris.
Well, first of all, what a shock that was for Brown to blame somebody else when I think the universal view is that FEMA was disastrous in this response to Katrina, and he was in charge of FEMA. And, he's got such a terrible resume, one of the crony appointments by the Bush administration. And so, what a shock that he would blame somebody else. Now, I think there is blame to go around, that's for sure. But, that's something that the right-wing talk show hosts have picked up, is that they're blaming the Democrats, of course. And so Brown picked up on that. And I think it's baloney.
Well, Dick, isn't there enough blame to go around
This
here?
isn't a party issue, crying out loud. Let's get away from that. Let's look, there were a lot of problems down there, and then they turn right around in Houston and Texas to evacuate people for the next hurricane, and they find out they got all kinds of problems there. Let's address the issues, and let's start figuring out how to solve them. Because, yeah, there's plenty of blame to go around, because I asked right out of the bat, where was the state when all this went down? All they're doing is pointing their fingers at the federal government, and you got the local people. You had all the dysfunctionality within the New Orleans Police Department that went on. The chief just retired yesterday. He went ahead and gave it up, but they had 500 officers they couldn't account for. So there were a lot of things going wrong down there, and we need to address the issues. What went wrong and how do you fix them? How do we not do this in the future?
Well, even Donald Rumsfeld, not my favorite guy, said yesterday at the same time, he said one of the problems with Louisiana and New Orleans response is that most of the first responders for those two entities were victims of the hurricane themselves.
Don't listen to Rumsfeld. He'll go in and bomb them. I thought it was shameful. I thought it was shameful I watched part of Michael Brown's testimony, and to launch into this lecture, this civics lecture on federalism and how the federal government is structured, that plays right into the first criticism that the press secretary of the governor of Louisiana made right at the time of the crisis, that Louisiana was calling for everything the federal government has, and FEMA wanted to negotiate an organization chart.
Let's just hold on real quick, Andy. Isn't it true that the governor, when she was asked by President Bush to nationalize the Louisiana National Guard, she wouldn't let him do that? I mean, isn't that the case? Don't you think that when you have some of those issues going on, that you are going to maybe hurt the response where it could be quick, but you could have the federal government come in there?
That lets George Bush take over your state, and if I were the governor of Louisiana, I wouldn't want George Bush taking over my state, given his demonstrated incapacity to do much more than drink beer.
Well, and if you were the governor of Louisiana, George Bush wouldn't want your state. Go ahead.
Well, I think when that happened, Paul, I think the cows were out of the barn already. We were several days into the disaster, and FEMA was, like Andy's saying, FEMA was still doing organizational charts in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's true.
Okay, let's get local now. Yesterday we had Richard Perkins on the show, current Assembly Speaker and former candidate for governor. Now, Andy, you think you know what Richard Perkins' future move is.
Everybody on your show missed the story, Paul. The only thing blocking Perkins from running against John Porter for the Henderson area congressional seat, District 3, the new one, was he needed to mend his fences with organized labor, namely the culinary union. And there were conciliatory statements made about Perkins at the Nevada AFL-CIO convention here in Reno earlier this week. And Richard Perkins himself said right here on this program yesterday that he has buried the hatchet with the culinary union and has mended his fences with organized labor. I submit that's the only thing that's was stopping him from running against Porter. He's got an off-the-shelf campaign organization, tons of money. He's a hometown boy. There have been people pushing him to do it, and he has been talking about it. So that's the scoop that was missed.
Dick, does Perkins have a chance at beating Porter?
I don't really think he can beat John Porter, but it'll be an interesting run. You know, Richard Perkins, I really like the guy. I think he's a good guy, but he's got some baggage to carry with him, too, and all this issue over him drawing salaries, all the issue over being paid while he's in the legislature. I mean, there's several issues here that he's going to have to deal with, and I think John Porter's pretty strong.
Well, I think those issues are kind of in the past, and I think a lot of Democrats were really hoping that once Perkins announced that he was out of the race, that he would stay in the ball game, and I think a run against Porter would be perfect. I think hopefully he can retain his campaign staff if that's what he wants to do, because he put together a pretty strong staff. And so, you know, stuff like the misnamed double dipping and all that kind of stuff.
Misnamed double dipping? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you at all.
Come on, that is absolutely ridiculous. Where you have people who are, number one, they're drawing a salary while they're serving the public. It's not misnamed. Double dipping is the proper name for it, and it is not right.
Well, you're 100% wrong on that, Paul, because he was doing work for both entities.
Oh, come on. He was getting paid an ungodly sum of money for being up in the legislature. I have to let that be the last word. Sorry, I took it away.
The legislature is a sub-minimum wage
Okay, we'll be right back.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. For a quick bite and the best sandwiches in town, it's the Whistle Stop Deli. And for the best appetizers and menu selections and a large variety of cocktails, beers, and martinis, it's Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
If you miss any of the shows, you can check them out on www.nevadanewsmakers.com. Tomorrow we have Dee McGuinn, who will be here to tell us why a congresswoman would not make a good first lady. See you tomorrow.